The king card landed in Caleb's hand. A cheer went up from the circle of students crammed onto the worn-out couches of the frat house basement. His eyes scanned the room, a smirk playing on his lips as he asked where the jack was. A voice from the corner called out, identifying Liam. The name was met with a new wave of jeering and excitement. Everyone seemed to agree that this was long overdue, that it had to be a dare. The protagonist of the moment, Liam, sat sprawled on an armchair, slender fingers pinching the jack of spades. He looked at it with a frown and then gave a resigned sigh, telling them to get on with it. The person holding the ace of spades, instead of inventing a challenge, drew a card from the action pile. He read the contents aloud, his voice booming over the music. The dare was to kiss the fourth person to his left. A chorus of voices erupted, wondering who the lucky person was, who would get to kiss the campus heartthrob. Heads turned and people counted, their collective gaze finally landing on Liam. The humid basement air grew still. Liam, nestled in the armchair, saw the deep furrow form between Caleb's brows. After a beat of silence, someone suggested they should just skip it. A counter-argument immediately rose, questioning if Caleb was too scared to play, insisting it was unfair to back out now. Jessica, the head of the student events committee who was known to have a massive crush on Caleb, suggested they change the person. She trailed off, but her meaning was clear to everyone present. It was a well-known fact on campus that Liam was gay, while Caleb was notoriously vocally homophobic. Her suggestion found some support, but others refused, shouting that it was just a game and they needed to commit. The chant started then, a low rumble that grew into a unified demand for a kiss. Liam glanced over at Caleb, who was already staring at him, his expression fierce. Liam offered a lazy, challenging smile in return. It was Caleb's dare. He had no reason to be angry at him. If he had a problem, he could walk away. In the next moment, Caleb shot to his feet and crossed the room in 3 long strides, stopping directly in front of Liam. The sudden movement made Liam flinch. At 6'3", Caleb's frame blocked the dim party lights, casting Liam in shadow. Looking up at him felt imposing. Caleb stared down, his jaw tight, looking like a cornered animal. He ground out a question, asking if this was okay. The room was now so quiet that the sound of breathing was audible. Caleb's eyes were locked on Liam, intense and predatory. Liam simply grinned and said it was fine. As soon as the word left his lips, the tall figure leaned down. A brief, searing heat pressed against his mouth and was gone just as quickly. Caleb straightened up instantly, turned on his heel, and stormed out of the basement, leaving a wake of stunned silence and sharp intakes of breath. Before Liam even made it back to his dorm, the incident was already exploding on the Northwood University confessions page. His best friend, Noah, was blowing up his phone with texts, asking if he'd really kissed Caleb. Liam replied that he had. Noah's follow-up texts were a flurry of questions about how it was, calling him a legend. Liam simply typed back that he didn't feel anything, that it was just a touch. He lamented what a waste it was for the two of them to be a potential campus power couple. But Liam shut it down, reminding him that Caleb was straight and homophobic. He walked slowly back to his dorm. The man who had kissed him and fled was just coming out of their shared bathroom. Wet hair was partially covered by a towel, and he was dressed in sweatpants and a long-sleeved shirt, completely covered despite the early autumn warmth. The moment Caleb saw Liam, he froze, then scrambled onto his top bunk without even bothering to dry his hair. Their other roommate, Mark, approached Liam and quietly asked if they had fought. Liam shook his head, explaining that it was just Caleb's homophobia acting up again. Mark immediately dropped the subject. Living with Caleb had always been an exercise in absurdity. Liam had never hidden his sexuality, turning down girls by politely stating he was interested in men. Within 2 weeks of freshman year, the news had spread across campus and, inevitably, to his roommate. Caleb, who had seemed coolly indifferent at first, began to actively avoid him, keeping a noticeable distance at all times. Today was a perfect example. He dressed as if for a blizzard after a simple shower, terrified that Liam might glimpse an inch of his precious skin. Liam found it ridiculous. He was gay, not a starving predator. After grabbing his own clothes for a shower, he came out to find Caleb hanging a towel on the balcony. Hearing the door open, Caleb's movements hitched. Without turning around, he seemed to hit a fast-forward button, quickly finishing his task. Liam was used to these neurotic displays. He was toweling his own hair dry as he walked past him. He heard a sharp, deep breath, followed by Caleb's incredulous voice demanding to know why he wasn't wearing a shirt. Liam looked down at himself. He was wearing boxer briefs. He pointed out that they were both men, so it shouldn't matter. Caleb was rendered speechless. When Liam glanced back, he saw that a dark blush had crept up Caleb's neck. Resigned, and feeling a sliver of pity after months of being roommates, Liam held his towel up to cover his chest, sarcastically asking if that was better. He hadn't expected Caleb to still be out there. Mark was already asleep in his bunk before Liam had gone into the bathroom, and their fourth roommate was gone for the weekend. Caleb himself had retreated to his bed the moment Liam had returned from the party. Thinking he was alone, he hadn't bothered to grab a new shirt when his had fallen into a puddle on the bathroom floor. Silence stretched behind him. Liam pulled a clean pajama shirt from his dresser and asked Caleb if he was going to get into his bed, because he was about to change. Caleb's muscles were tense, his eyes fixed on the floor. His voice was hoarse when he asked why Liam couldn't just change in the bathroom. Liam sighed, exasperated by his roommate's endless hang-ups. He made a show of threatening to drop the towel. A split second later, a blur of motion rushed past him as Caleb vaulted into his bunk. In lecture the next day, Noah leaned over, whispering a question about whether Liam thought he could turn Caleb gay with a kiss. He kept glancing behind them. He told Liam that Caleb had been staring at him. Liam rolled his eyes, retorting that it was more likely Caleb was plotting his murder than questioning his sexuality. Noah conceded the point. Caleb had indeed been staring at him for 2 days straight. It was unnerving, and his glare was so intense that people around them were starting to think Liam had done something terrible to him. He wanted to confront Caleb about it, but the guy was like a heat-seeking missile programmed for avoidance, dodging him at every turn. He was never in the dorm room. He'd come back after Liam was asleep and be gone before he woke up. That evening, Liam finally cornered him. He saw Caleb walking ahead of him on the path back to the dorms from the mail center. To prevent another escape, Liam strode forward and grabbed his arm. Caleb spun around, his expression souring when he saw who it was. Liam could feel the muscles in Caleb's wrist tense up, his voice equally rigid as he asked what he wanted. Liam let go, holding his hands up placatingly. He explained that he just wanted to talk and asked if Caleb had a problem with him lately. Caleb's gaze was directed downwards. There was no denying he was ridiculously handsome. Tall, with a chiseled face and a physique that was perfectly proportioned. They were standing less than 2 feet apart, and the rise and fall of Caleb's chest as he breathed drew Liam's eye. Fearing an outburst if he was caught staring, Liam quickly shifted his gaze back to Caleb's face, only to notice something strange. Caleb seemed to be staring at his lips, completely lost in thought. A jolt went through Liam. Could it be? He cautiously took 2 steps back. The movement broke Caleb's trance. His eyes flickered and finally met Liam's. He stated flatly that he had no problem with him, his tone leaving no room for discussion. Liam pressed on, telling him to drop the hostile act then. Caleb's brow furrowed in genuine confusion as he asked when he had ever been hostile. Liam let out a laugh of pure frustration. He told Caleb he'd been staring holes through him for the past 2 days, asking if he was planning an assassination. Caleb stiffened, his gaze darting away before settling back on Liam's mouth. His stare was deep and unreadable. Liam stood his ground, curious to see what he would do. After a long 30 seconds, Caleb licked his lips and spoke. That was his first kiss. Liam was stunned. He processed the words. His first kiss. That night at the party. Turned out Caleb was some kind of innocent. Liam felt a pang of guilt. Though it was his first kiss as well, to him it had just been a game. But for a stubbornly straight guy like Caleb, giving his first kiss to another man must have been a massive shock. No wonder he'd been staring. He was probably trying to figure out how to get rid of him. Then another thought occurred to him. This wasn't his fault. Caleb had lost the game, and he had initiated the kiss. Liam had no intention of being guilt-tripped. He crossed his arms, adopting an indifferent tone as he pointed out that Caleb could have refused. Caleb lowered his head, seemingly lost in thought, the muscles in his forearms bunching. Liam took another 2 steps back, seeking a safer distance. After a moment, Caleb offered a rare explanation, stating that he wasn't looking for trouble, just thinking about things. Liam just nodded, not wanting to push it further. He had a feeling that continuing this conversation would lead them somewhere unexpected. Perhaps the talk helped, because Caleb stopped staring at him in class, and their roommate dynamic returned to a state of tense but manageable neutrality. It was around this time that rumors of Jessica actively pursuing Caleb began to circulate. One evening, as Liam approached their dorm room, he could hear Mark's voice, teasing Caleb about why he wasn't interested in a girl as beautiful as Jessica. Caleb didn't answer. Liam pushed the door open. Caleb, who had been sitting properly at his desk, shot up, kicked off his shoes, and scrambled up his bunk ladder, disappearing behind his privacy curtain. The chair he'd vacated was still rocking. Liam and Mark shared a look before quickly looking away. The following weekend, Liam made plans to go camping with Noah. He packed a small bag, and as he was leaving, Mark asked where he was going so late. Liam explained his plans and left. When he arrived at the designated spot by the lake, he thought he was in the wrong place. Noah had said it would be just the 2 of them, but now a large group of people were gathered around a bonfire, grilling hot dogs and burgers. Liam stood at the edge of the clearing, hesitating, wondering if he should just turn back. Suddenly, Noah appeared, throwing an arm around his shoulders and welcoming him loudly. He started to pull Liam toward the crowd. Liam resisted, pulling Noah's arm off and demanding to know what was going on. Noah just grinned and gestured towards the party, explaining that the most important part of college was romance, and that Liam needed to find someone. Liam felt a headache coming on. He reminded Noah about the drama from the frat party, which was still a hot topic on the campus confession page. But Noah was insistent, dragging him into the crowd and pushing him down onto a log near the fire before being called away. The spot was in a corner, and Liam was content to be ignored. He pulled out his phone and started a game, determined to remain invisible. For most of the night, it worked. Aside from a friendly guy next to him passing him a couple of beers, no one bothered him. The next morning, Noah and the others decided to go hiking. Liam had no interest and, after telling Noah, slipped away. He arrived back at the empty dorm to the sight of a half-naked god emerging from the bathroom. Caleb was wearing only a towel slung low on his hips, his entire chest and abdomen exposed. He had one hand on the doorknob and froze when he saw Liam, staring in shock. For someone who usually acted like Liam was a predator, he was being awfully careless. Liam walked into the room and, as a courtesy, shut the door behind him, closing off the view. He raised an eyebrow and asked why Caleb wasn't getting dressed. The only response was the sound of the bathroom door slamming shut. Mark poked his head out from behind his curtain, asking sleepily what all the noise was about. Liam suppressed a smile and told him Caleb was in the bathroom. Yawning, Mark wondered aloud what had gotten into him. When Caleb finally re-emerged, he was fully clothed in a way that revealed nothing. Liam set his bag down and headed for the bathroom himself. As he passed Caleb, an arm shot out, blocking his path. Caleb asked what he was doing. Liam looked from the arm barring his way to Caleb's flushed face, which was still steaming from the shower. He stated the obvious, he was going to the bathroom. Caleb's eyes darted around. He told him to wait a while. This was bizarre. Caleb was actively stopping him from using the bathroom. Something was definitely up. Liam studied him for a moment and saw a deep blush spread from Caleb's neck all the way to his ears. Okay, he understood now. Boys in the morning. It was normal. The weekend passed. That afternoon, Liam was heading to class when someone called his name. He turned to see a familiar face. It was Ethan, the senior who had given him the beers at the bonfire. He smiled politely. Ethan fell into step beside him, remarking on the coincidence. He had a class on the 3rd floor. Liam's was on the 5th. Ethan asked if he had any plans for the evening. Liam glanced at him, noting how his eyes crinkled when he smiled, warm and pleasant. He said he was free. Ethan then asked if he could take him to dinner. Liam agreed. They arranged a time and parted ways on the 3rd floor landing. When Liam looked up, Caleb was standing at the top of the stairs, his face a cold mask. Liam ignored him and walked past into his classroom. That evening, after dinner with Ethan, they exchanged numbers and Ethan walked him back to the dorm. As he headed upstairs, Noah sent him a series of teasing emojis, asking how the date went. Liam texted back that it was fine, that he wasn't sure if he liked him, but that it was good to get out. As he was typing, he sensed a presence in front of him. A dark figure stood in the dimly lit stairwell. The sight startled him, and he yelled out, asking Caleb if he was insane, standing in the dark like that. Caleb, dressed in pajamas, blocked most of the staircase. His expression was grim, and he didn't move. Liam put his phone away and asked with exasperation what he wanted, telling him to move if he had nothing to say. Caleb stirred, then lunged forward, grabbing Liam's arm and yanking him up the stairs. Caught off guard, Liam stumbled. His back hit the wall with a thud. Caleb pinned his wrists above his head with one hand and used the other to cup his chin, forcing him to meet his gaze. He looked like an enraged tiger showing its fangs. He demanded to know if Liam had been on a date. He asked who it was, his voice low and threatening. When Liam confirmed it was Ethan, Caleb demanded to know what business it was of his. He told him to let go. Caleb's face was only inches from his breath hot on Liam's skin. Then Caleb uttered a sentence that made no sense. He said that Liam had to take responsibility for him. Liam was baffled. Responsibility for what? Caleb's voice was tight when he answered, for his first kiss. The absurdity of it made Liam laugh. How was he supposed to take responsibility? Give him another one. The moment the words were out, he felt Caleb's breathing quicken. He couldn't be serious. As Caleb's face drew closer, Liam panicked and told him to stop, demanding to know what he really wanted. Caleb's voice dropped to a near whisper. He wanted to kiss him. Liam struggled, telling him to let go, but Caleb refused, reminding him that he had said it was okay to kiss. Liam asked when he'd ever said that. Caleb accused him of playing games with him that night. He pulled back slightly, his eyes never leaving Liam's face. The sound of his throat working was loud in the silence. Then came the confession. I like you. The words, delivered so directly, stunned Liam into silence. He asked what Caleb had just said. Caleb repeated it, slowly and deliberately. Like you. His grip loosened. Liam reached up and tentatively touched Caleb's forehead, checking for a fever. He wasn't sick, so why was he talking nonsense? Caleb didn't move. His eyes just stared, intense and unwavering, just like they had been in the basement. Liam's heart began to pound in his chest. Just as he thought Caleb might notice, he shoved him away. This time it was Liam who fled. The next day, Caleb underwent a complete transformation. He went for a run early in the morning and came back with breakfast for Liam. He no longer wore layers after his shower, instead parading around in just a towel. Mark stared with wide eyes, wondering aloud if Caleb had finally lost his mind or if he was cured. Liam sighed, placing the breakfast Caleb had bought back on Caleb's desk. He asked him what he thought he was doing. Caleb, calmly buttoning his shirt, turned to him with a serious expression and said he was trying to win him over. His voice was perfectly clear, and Mark, who was nearby, was so shocked he nearly choked on his food. Liam just sighed and called him a psycho. In class, Noah waved him over. As soon as Liam sat down, Noah started rattling off questions about what happened on his date. Before Liam could answer, a figure sat down in the empty seat next to him. The chatter in the rows around them died down. Liam turned his head to see Caleb placing his textbook on the desk as if it were the most normal thing in the world. Liam's phone buzzed. It was a storm of texts from Noah, asking what was going on with Caleb, reminding him that Caleb used to avoid him like the plague. Liam gave him a brief explanation. Noah fell silent for a moment before texting again, asking if Liam had done something to him. Liam was exasperated. He typed back that Caleb was a foot taller and could knock him out with one punch. Noah replied that when a straight guy falls, he falls hard, and that Caleb was clearly all in now. Liam didn't want to reply to Noah's nonsense, but he had a point. Caleb was relentless. For the next few days, he shed all his previous inhibitions, and the news that he was pursuing Liam became the top story on the campus confessions page. A new message popped up on his phone. It was Ethan, asking if he wanted to see a new sci-fi movie that he'd heard Liam was excited about. Liam thought for a moment and replied that he had too much homework lately and probably didn't have time. A voice from behind him said that was a shame, but surely he had time for lunch. Liam turned to see Ethan standing there, phone in hand, smiling. At the campus dining hall, Liam and Ethan had just sat down with their trays when Caleb appeared, sitting down next to Liam without a word and beginning to eat. A few moments later, another unwelcome guest arrived. Jessica placed a sports drink in front of Caleb, her voice sweet as she asked if he would be at the basketball team party that night. Caleb pushed the drink away without looking at her or answering. Jessica didn't seem fazed and just smiled. After lunch, Ethan had to leave. Caleb produced a bottle of water from nowhere and offered it to Liam. Liam didn't take it but said thanks. Caleb's head drooped, and he mumbled, asking why. He then pointed out that Liam had agreed to have a meal with Ethan, but wouldn't even take a bottle of water from him, even though they were both pursuing him. He snuck a glance at Liam, looking like a tiger that had retracted its claws, pitiful and somehow intimidating at the same time. Later that afternoon, Noah informed him that all the negative posts about him on the confessions page had been deleted. He sent a screenshot of a new post, made by Caleb under his real name. It contained no text, only a series of images showing the anonymous IDs of everyone who had been slandering Liam. Noah commented that Caleb was surprisingly cool. That night, just as he was about to go to sleep, his phone rang. It was Noah. He said he had Caleb with him and that Liam needed to come pick him up. Liam was confused, asking why he should be the one to get him. Noah explained that as roommates, it was his duty, and that he was at the flower beds in front of their dorm building. He added that he had a date, and if Liam didn't come, Caleb would be sleeping there all night. The line went dead. Liam was annoyed. Ever since Mark had been spooked by Caleb's sudden change, he rarely stayed in the dorm on weekends. So it was just him. He sighed, grabbed his key, and went outside. Just as Noah had said, Caleb was slumped over in the flower beds alone. Liam walked over and shook his shoulder, telling him to wake up. Caleb pushed himself up, his eyes brightening when he saw Liam. He stood up, swaying unsteadily. He was completely drunk. Liam reached out to steady him, but instead of leaning on him, Caleb grabbed his wrist tightly, asking what he was doing here. Liam asked if he planned on spending the night outside. Caleb shook his head, mumbling that he would go with him. Getting Caleb back to the dorm and into the bathroom was a struggle. Liam told him to take a shower to wash off the smell of alcohol. Caleb obediently went in, and soon the sound of the shower started. 15 minutes later, he emerged wrapped in a towel. Liam shoved his pajamas into his hands and told him to get dressed and go to bed. Caleb just stood there holding the clothes, his eyelashes still wet with water droplets, staring blankly at Liam. Liam gave up, telling him to change wherever he wanted. He was going to bed. As he turned to climb into his bunk, Caleb grabbed his hand and pressed it flat against his own chest. He told him he could touch. Liam's hand froze. Caleb tilted his head. He knew Liam liked it, so he could touch. The fact that Caleb had noticed him staring at his chest was mortifying. It had just been an aesthetic appreciation. As he was lost in thought, Caleb moved his hand, rubbing it against his skin, the sensation sending a jolt up Liam's arm. He snatched his hand back, urging him to get to bed. A look of disappointment crossed Caleb's face. He asked if Liam didn't like it. How was he supposed to answer that? He settled on a neutral reply, saying it wasn't about liking or not liking, and that he just needed to sleep. Caleb didn't move. Liam realized he was trying to reason with a drunk person. He took a step back and gave in. He liked it, okay? Upon hearing this, a wide, goofy grin spread across Caleb's face. He asked him to touch it again, promising he would go to sleep right after. Liam took a deep breath, reached out, and quickly tapped Caleb's chest. His own face felt hot. He told him to go to bed. Caleb was still smiling, his eyes fixed on him. He said he liked him so much. The heat in Liam's face intensified. He knew, now go to sleep. Caleb continued, saying he liked him so much. He knew. The kind of like where he only liked him. This was torture. Drunk Caleb was relentlessly affectionate. After finally coaxing him into his bunk, Liam fell onto his own pillow and was instantly asleep. When he woke up, Caleb was gone. By the time Liam finished getting ready, Caleb returned, carrying breakfast, which he placed on Liam's desk. Before Liam could say anything, Caleb thanked him for the previous night. So he remembered everything. Great. At least Liam wasn't the one who had made a fool of himself. Noah, ever the gossip, called him first thing in the morning. He relayed the story of how Jessica had gotten a group of guys to get Caleb drunk so she could confess to him, only for him to flatly reject her. Liam listened while watching Caleb eat his breakfast. Noah went on about how Jessica had also talked trash about Liam and how shameless she was. He then asked how things went between Liam and Caleb last night. Ever since he found out Caleb was pursuing him, Noah had become their biggest shipper. Liam gave a vague answer and Noah let it go. He hung up, but the memories of the previous night came flooding back, and his face started to burn. He patted his cheeks, telling himself that it was only human to appreciate a good physique. It was dark by the time he and Noah got back from an afternoon of shopping. As they passed the basketball court, Noah peered inside, noting that Caleb seemed to be in there. Just as he spoke, Liam heard a whistling sound and turned to see a ball hurtling towards him. It struck him square in the forehead. His vision tilted, and the ball bounced twice on the pavement. It was a basketball. Noah rushed to his side, asking frantically if he was okay. A wave of dizziness and nausea washed over him. Noah said they needed to go to the clinic. As he helped Liam up, the sound of running footsteps grew closer. The next thing he knew, he was being lifted off the ground. One arm supported his head, cradling it against a broad shoulder. It was Caleb. He smelled of his usual shampoo. Caleb was strong and tall, and he carried him not in a bridal style, but with one arm under his thighs and waist, the other supporting his back, his hand hovering protectively over Liam's forehead. He was rushed to the campus health center, the sound of Caleb's ragged breathing filling his ears. The diagnosis was a mild concussion. They told him to rest for a few days and that he should stay for observation overnight. In the private room, Noah cursed Jessica out, calling her an idiot for throwing basketballs at people and insisting they had to report it. Liam, too dizzy to speak, just nodded in agreement. Noah went out into the hall to make a call, leaving Liam alone with Caleb. His expression was fierce again, and dark. His shirt was soaked with sweat. Seeing Liam looking at him, he walked over to the bed and asked if he was uncomfortable, telling him to sleep, that he would stay and watch over him. Liam blinked twice and then closed his eyes. The next day, they went to the campus police. The basketball court had security cameras, so it was clear the act wasn't entirely accidental. Jessica tried to argue but eventually admitted to it. Under mediation, she apologized, agreed to pay his medical bills, and received an official from the university. Liam thought that would be the end of it, but as they left the office, Jessica started up again. She walked up to Caleb, her expression pitiful as she apologized. Caleb gave her a cold glance and told her that he wasn't the one she should be apologizing to. Jessica pouted and refused to look at Liam. He wasn't interested in her apology anyway and told Caleb they should go. But she suddenly lunged towards Liam, pointing a finger at his face and screaming that it was all his fault, that if he hadn't seduced Caleb, none of this would have happened. The concussion was his, but she was the one with brain damage. His wrist was suddenly warm. Caleb grabbed his hand, stepping in front of him. His voice was laced with anger as he told her to watch her mouth. Jessica became even more hysterical, shouting at Caleb for defending him, accusing Liam of turning him gay. Caleb warned her again, saying he didn't want to hurt a girl, but this was her last chance. Seemingly emboldened by his restraint, she continued, sneering and asking if liking men wasn't disgusting. Liam couldn't help but laugh. He asked her if the person she liked wasn't a man, or if Caleb wasn't a man. Jessica was stunned into silence. And then, right in front of her, Liam hooked his arm around Caleb's neck. He asked him if it was okay to kiss. Caleb's eyes widened, momentarily frozen. Liam smiled, pulled his head down, and kissed him hard. The sound was audible. When he pulled back, he asked Caleb how it felt to be liked by a man. slow smile spread across Caleb's face. He replied that being liked by him felt very good. Jessica's face was a mask of fury as she stormed off. Liam let his arm drop from Caleb's neck, but Caleb caught his hand and placed it back, then wrapped his own arm around Liam's waist. He asked what came next. Liam played dumb. Caleb's brow furrowed. He reminded him that he had just kissed him. Liam prompted him to continue. Caleb was quiet for a moment, then said, his voice earnest, that Liam had to take responsibility. Liam readily agreed. Caleb looked at him in disbelief, asking if he was serious. Liam nodded. He told him that he was his boyfriend now. Caleb confirmed it, then immediately added a condition. He had to delete that guy Ethan's number. Noah was the first to find out they were together. He called immediately, saying he knew it all along. He asked what kind of person Liam was really into, calling him a genius. Liam told him not to tease. He then asked about the senior, and Liam confirmed he had already cleared things up with him. Noah said that was good because Caleb really had it out for him. Liam was puzzled, asking how he knew. Noah just laughed and said his intuition told him there was more to that story. Before Liam could think about it, he was interrupted. Caleb came up from behind, tilted his head back, and kissed him deeply, one hand hanging up the call while the other tangled in his hair. He didn't pull away until Liam was breathless. He nuzzled his ear and whispered, asking if they could just ignore everyone else. It was confirmed. Those two were definitely hiding something from him.